Hello, guys. So we are here today in our very first English podcast with a good friend of mine, Claude. How are you?
Hello,
Not too
Claude.
bad, thanks. How's everybody else?
Good.
Good
So,
here too.
so Claude, tell us, where are you from?
Well, I'm from Cape Town and I'm a quality engineer working in Cape Town. Obviously, I have also been bitten by a travel bug, which brought me to London, and that's how I met Raphael, my good
Yes.
friend, which I have also, because of my travel bug, visited in. Unfortunately, I couldn't find Tiago. He was missing in action in Canada, I think.
Yeah, I
But
was.
yeah, I remember you were there that time. So yes, I'm 44 years old. I'm an old man now. You can see my gray hair.
No, you're fine. Come
You're
on.
great.
You're great.
So that's me now, but I'm still young at heart. Don't reject
Okay.
me. Thanks.
Yes, no, you're just fine.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
introduction.
So, Claude, first of all, thank you very, very much for being here. This is very important for us. And we know that many people, some of our mentees and students, they really enjoy this thing of podcasts and listening in English. It's very nice, for their development. So we really appreciate your willingness to be with us here today.
Thank you, Richard. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure.
So tell us a little bit how is life in South Africa? So Cape Town,
Well, before,
is it the
yeah.
capital of South Africa?
It's one of the administrative capitals, but Pretoria is actually the capital, and then Cape Town has become one of the administrative capitals. So yes, Cape Town also have a long history, which makes the USA a baby against Cape Town, because actually Cape Town is older than the USA. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but the USA is actually 250 years younger than South Africa.
Wow.
So we're
Wow.
quite an advanced country in the sense that we are older than them. Today is a very, very freezing cold Londony day again. Like I told Raphael the other day, it is London freezing weather outside. So, but yeah, and funny enough, I've got blue on. I've got your blue logo color.
I
Yes,
know. That
Oh,
just matched.
I know. How coincidental is that?
I
Yeah,
know.
very coincidental.
Everything happens for a reason.
I know, because you are my best friend. That's why.
Oh, bless
Oh,
you.
that's nice. That's
So,
nice.
Claude, tell us a bit more about your job. What do you do exactly?
Okay, so basically you find computer programmers who thinks they are smart. So then they give not the final version of what they have developed or what they have programmed, but they give it to me and say, see if you can break this. Now, because I'm very knowledgeable in business, I know exactly what business needs and how they need the functionality to work properly. Now, I am the guy who finds flaws in the system. And if I don't do my job properly and I give the okay to business and there's problems in business, then production will stand still and the company will actually lose a lot of money. So basically, I'm working for an investment financial insurance company, and we build the in-house system, and it is my job to make sure that quality it's done thoroughly, properly, and if it does pop up in business or in production, we have, well, not we, but me. Well, there's plenty of us, but me personally, I have done my job. So before you get WhatsApp or before you get Zoom, it needs to be tested. It needs to be quality checked. And that's my job.
Oh, so you're almost like a hacker.
Oh, in-house hacker, not a criminal hacker.
Be careful,
that we
Thiago.
know
He
of.
can break through our computers if we don't say
No,
what he wants.
Yeah, I
today,
was worried here
no,
already.
no.
Just one.
To be a hacker, just to make it clear, to be a hacker today, it's actually a full-time job.
Wow.
And I apologize, but night shift is not doing it for me. So my day job is enough. Thank you.
So are you still working home office, or are you back to the office?
I'm full-time back at the office now. Currently, South Africa is facing a few challenges. We have our power unit that, you know, the supply government unit that supply electricity to the nation. So we have breakages, we have maintenance problems. So now we get these load shedding, they call it blackouts, basically, but it's called racial blackouts, not racist. It's called, so we have these phases of blackouts where one part of the city would be blacked out just to save electricity. So that is the one thing we have. And because of that, I had to stop working from home because it literally have an effect. It has an impact on our productivity at home because the power is off. So your fiber network is off. Your computer battery only lasts for so long. And for me, that was just enough. And I told myself, the party is over. It's time to go back to the office. So I'm back at the office.
So Claude, tell us a little bit about that horrible situation of the pandemic. I was seeing some rates, and in all Africa, we've got one of the lowest rates of vaccination in the world, right? So first, tell us a little bit about how was the pandemic itself there in South Africa, since you were the richest country in all the continent, and probably you've got the best conditions to treat and to, you know, tackle this this horrible disease. So could you please tell us a little bit how was the pandemic itself and how you are doing right now in terms of vaccination and everything? Because we are very concerned with Africa, right? In general, because I was seeing that some countries like Congo, they've got less than 5% of the population vaccinated, and that's awful, you know, and that's a complication for the entire world. So yeah, please.
Let me start off first to congratulate our scientists. I don't know if you are aware that our scientists actually discovered one of the variants of the COVID, and we have discovered Delta.
Wow.
And that is ours. So congratulations, number one, parabéns to our scientists.
Great.
And so when that happened, we discovered, did you know that Europe blocked South Africans from traveling to wherever because they got so afraid of this new variant? But South Africa was the first country to spot it. So number one, yes, I think we have all went through the same troubles. We had lockdowns, we had to stay at home. It was a very fearful time for everybody, like all over the world. And on top of not just facing the pandemic itself, other pandemics started to pop up. Home abuse. I mean, men were starting to abuse their children, their wives. A lot of people started becoming lonely. They couldn't connect with people because we were all in lockdown. We were all in solitude. And so some people committed suicide. Other people lost their businesses. I mean, it was a terrible time. I mean, we all still facing the aftermath of the pandemic. I mean, our economies right now are in ruins because of the pandemic. I mean, there are still sectors of the industries that are fully locked down because they can't operate anymore. Either the businesses are shut down or some supply chain is broken. There are containers currently in China because China also recently have a few lockdowns now because they were dealing with the Omicron variant and they still had Delta variant. And so those supply chains are broken. Look at the other thing currently. I'm also not I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but currently there's a shortage of brand new motor vehicles. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, in Brazil as well.
So,
Yep, here too.
So now car manufacturers can't even manufacture new vehicles. And are you aware that your current vehicle, which is a second-hand vehicle because it's a used car, are now worth more than a brand new vehicle because of the chip shortage? So second-hand used cars are even now more in demand because there's no brand new cars, because brand new cars needs this chip to function, because what happens during the pandemic, everybody started buying laptops and phones. So the chip companies diverted their attention to computers and phones because they shifted, because they thought that the motor industry was going to take longer to rebound back, but it actually rebounded quickly enough. So people started wanting to have new cars, but now we can't. And it's a global problem. And on top of it, we're still in a pandemic. Now Vladimir Putin is all making I do not mean to bring in politics here, but now Vladimir Putin is also destroying our lives because the fuel prices are skyrocketing, and it's a global problem again. I'm not sure what's happening in Brazil.
Indeed.
But I mean, we can't cope anymore with the fuel rising prices. And on top of it, food is also rising. The prices of food is also rising. And and South Africa has a big, diverse culture of rich and poor. I mean, it is eminent. You can see it. You can see the difference between rich and poor. I mean, there's even a part in Mexico as well, where you can, if you throw a drone over that part, you can literally see the favelas and you can see the rich next to it. And we have exactly the same sort of setup and structure in South Africa. Now the poor are suffering because of all of this. So now the pandemic is almost over, but we're facing other problems now. And we are struggling.
It scales all over the world, isn't it?
You're facing all its consequences. Still
and who knows what the future holds for us. Because I mean, it was enough for people to be locked out and be in solitude during COVID. I mean, now it's even worse because some people are living in poverty and they have to sleep with hungry tummies. And that's even worse. So last year, what happened was, because of the COVID pandemic, I'm not sure if it was on your news channels, but because of the COVID pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. So there was no income coming in. And even the grant that the government was supplying, which was very, very little. I mean, it was not even enough to supply families for a whole month. So they would get that once a month, but because it was so little, people became desperate. So in Durban, which is the north of Cape Town, and Johannesburg, they started looting shopping malls and shops, and trucks were attacked. And I mean, it was a big disaster. It was chaos here in South Africa last year. It was during June. It was exactly a year ago.
Fingers crossed the situation gets better, in all over the world. The aftermath, like you said, of the pandemic is really bad. But let's try to talk about something more
lighter.
Something more light. I apologize, but you asked me.
No, not at all. I think this is
I
so
just gave you a
important,
broad perspective.
No. I think it's great. Thank you so much for your contribution, for your thoughts. It's just great.
I have been to South Africa a few times, and obviously we met there. It was always very quick because, I was there for work. But could you give us an overview about what are the tourism like in South Africa? What are the things we can do there when we go there as a tourist? The main points, at least.
Let me just ask you one question, Raphael, or even you, Tiago.
Bring it on.
When you were with me in the city of Cape Town, how did you feel?
I felt very safe.
I felt amazed with all the great landscapes, marvelous food and wines.
It's
wow, it was amazing. I loved it. I really want to go back. I definitely want to go back.
You see, do I still have to do tourism where you can do it for me?
But
now, let me just tell the listeners that if you think of Cape Town, there's think of Rio de Janeiro. It's
very
a
similar.
Similar setup, the mountains, the hills, the beaches. What is that other? Monaco. Monaco and Rio are the sister cities of Cape Town.
All right.
Like New York is the sister city of London, Monaco and Rio is the sister city of Cape Town. So if you have been to one of those countries, not just Cape Town, but if you have been to your city, Rio, or if you have been to Monaco, you will know that feeling. It is party time. It is sun. It is time to get brown. If you even brown, you want to be darker because you just want to tan outside.
Yeah.
So
good wine.
It is a good wine.
Great seafood. Come on. And you love meat too, right?
We're the top 5 producers of wine. Exactly. Not barbecue, we call it braai. Thank you.
Yeah, braai. And the meat is amazing as well.
Everything
it's
so
better
good.
than London meat. It's better than London meat.
I miss it. I must go there soon.
and Claude.
Yeah, you have promised me.
I know.
And Claude, I was thinking here what you said right in the beginning about the historical all the history that you've got there in South Africa, right? The background, it's amazing. So tell us a little bit about it, about this culture pot. I mean, how many languages do you speak there? And do you learn English right at school and when you were like in kindergarten, something like that? Why did you start speaking English at first, right? Because this had a motive. So tell us a little bit about linking with the history, the initial history about this cultural pot that is South Africa, and why you speak English after all.
Look, if I have to start with that, number one, let me just suggest to you, there's a book called Long Walk to Freedom of Nelson Mandela.
Oh, thank you.
In that book, it's a very detailed description of what Nelson Mandela went through, and it also a detailed description. I mean, luckily for you guys, I have grew up in the apartheid years. Those apartheid, for those who don't know what apartheid is, it was the time of segregation between white and black.
Thanks for bringing that on.
Yes, so it was the segregation between white and black, and that was the dominant white. They're not dominant in population size, but they were dominant in the government, and so they started implementing these racist, evil system called apartheid. Yes, so we had locals that lived here before the Europeans have landed on our land. I think it's the same situation with Brazil before Europeans have landed. Yes, so sir. They have just taken all our people as slaves, and so we're just the dumb, stupid black people. But then obviously after many years of being segregated and being tortured and killed by apartheid, we started standing up. We started rebelling against the government. Funny enough, it was not only black people that sort of rebelled against the system, but it was white people as well, because white people, they participated. Yes, they participated in Olympics and all of these international sports, but now they were banned internationally because countries started putting sanctions on South Africa. But on a lighter side, Nelson Mandela came out for us. He fought for us. today I can be free and talking to you guys in this manner just because of the sacrifices that our forefathers and our ancestors have done. And congratulations to them, because they have done a brilliant job right now. But yes, after all of that, we still face a lot of challenges. But I'm, you know what, my country is so beautiful that I am very hopeful that we can make this a better place.
It will. It is already. Yeah, it got better. You know, already, and it will be even better.
What's the name of that book from Nelson Mandela? Please, could you please?
I think I have it here.
Okay.
I think I have it here.
Really?
Long Walk to Freedom.
Yeah.
Show it to us.
Long Walk
Let me
to
see if I have
Freedom.
it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, it's gonna be a bit hard to find now amongst hundreds of books. But we want to know.
You should have been prepared.
I know. Next time you let me know beforehand, and then I'll have it handy. And what were your impressions in Brazil? Because you came to visit me. How long ago?
Yeah.
Was it 3 years or 4 years ago?
It was in 2019, just a year before COVID. Can you believe
I
it?
know. I know.
Really.
Yes, I came
Where
the
did you
right
go,
time.
guys? Where did you go? Did you go to Londrina, to Paraná? Where did you go actually?
Yes, I was in Londrina.
He
Yes,
stayed
I
at
was.
Mais.
Yes.
Lovely. Oh, wow. I didn't remember that.
I was in Londrina. Okay, first I arrived in Sao Paulo, stayed in Sao Paulo for a few days. And then I went to Londrina, and then I went back to Sao Paulo. In Londrina, I went to Iguazu. Yes, Iguazu Falls. Foz do Iguaçu. I need to say that properly. But I say the English way, the Iguazu Falls, yes. And that was beautiful.
That's amazing.
Which is one of your 7 natural wonders, just like Table Mountain in Cape Town, which is one of the 7 natural wonders, which is brilliant. So I have seen 2 of them in my lifetime: Cape Town, Table Mountain, and Iguazu Falls. And then I went to Rio after Londrina. Then Rio was the last stop for me. I had an amazing time. Number one, you can ask Rafael. I was missing a lot. I would go and take walks. I felt safe. You know, people in South Africa, before I left for Brazil, oh, please be careful. They also have a lot of crime and da-da-da-da-da.
I'm South African.
Exactly. But I think because of my upbringing and because of my background, it was not hard for me to fit into Brazil. So I felt at home. I fit in like a glove. And I think I didn't look like a tourist. I looked like a local.
I know.
So
You can easily be Brazilian.
Let me just say to you, Brazil has become my second home. I think I can't get enough of, I have not been fully
Come back already.
Because I need to come back. I need to come back.
Please.
There will always be a place for you here, buddy. Always.
And here in Ribeirão Preto too. Okay. If you want, you can know a little bit more of São Paulo. Don't go just to Paraná. São Paulo, we have great things to see here as well.
Fair enough. No, look, there's still plenty of cities that I still have to discover, and I didn't have enough time for that. I think 2 weeks is not enough to visit Brazil. You need a whole year.
I know. Just move here for good, and that's it.
I can actually work from home there if I want to.
I was wondering a little bit about London. I know we met there in 2006. We lived in the same house. We used to share York's house with 16 other
what
people.
A wonderful house.
16?
16.
What?
Well, we are only students. There were 4 of us in our room, there were 2 double beds. And I think I slept at the top and Claude slept underneath. And there were always parties, and we had a crazy time. How old were you when you went there? to London?
No, you can't ask a girl that age thing. Now,
Oh, no, well, you already told me.
I was 26. I was turning 27, so I was still much in my youth. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, it was the best thing I could have done for my life. Although we lived like backpackers, but we were actually bonded as a family in that house. And I mean, you and me, we're still in contact with a lot of them. And I mean, many of them are Brazilian, some of them are French, some of them are Italian. You know, it was a whole atlas
world
of
in one
people,
house.
a whole global
Polish,
world
Spanish.
in one house.
Yeah.
You know, and when we get angry, we would speak in our languages, although we didn't know what it means, but we knew it was trouble.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, that is a nice advice for people that want to go abroad and study English and learn English. For example, they can prepare themselves beforehand so they don't get there like total blind. And living with foreigners is the best thing to do. I was only 21 when I went there and when we met. And the first thing I wanted to do is to not live with Brazilians. Although there were a few, it was vital for me, you know, to live with you guys so I could learn English, etc. So that is a good piece of advice. If English is not one of your first languages, in your case, that Cape Town is bilingual, yeah? What is the other language do you guys speak in South Africa, Claude?
So yes, I managed to lose that answering. Basically, we have 12 languages. My family's priority language is Afrikaans.
Wow.
So we have 12 languages. I speak 2.5 of them, if you know what I mean. So the half one I can understand and I can talk a little bit, which is isiXhosa. Now isiXhosa is also similar to Zulu, but Zulu doesn't have that click sound.
Like I remember you talking like that.
Yeah, so they talk the click. So Xhosa is the click sound.
Yeah. How would you say speak out? How would you say speak out in Xhosa?
Teta
Teta
kakulu.
Teta kakulu. I love it.
Yes. You're lucky I knew that. But in our work environment all over the country, English is the business language because it is difficult for 12 different languages in one office. Can you imagine 12 different languages in one office environment? Nobody will get anything. Nobody will get anything done because everybody's speaking their own language. So the country has adopted a business language for all employees and employers to speak English.
Good. That's
but the other main language spoken by the majority is Afrikaans. I don't know if I'm telling it. Or these 12 languages are spoken kind of by
actually. Yeah, actually, look. During apartheid, Afrikaans was the dominant language. Okay, and during my school years, Afrikaans was the dominant language, and then we needed to learn also a second language, which was English. But when you went to secondary school, to high school, you can actually take on a third language. But during my time, although I'm Black, but I spoke Afrikaans. Then you get Black people that speak isiXhosa. Then you get Black people that speak isiZulu, Venda, Sotho, isiSotho, South Sotho. It just goes. It's 12 languages. I can't list all of them right now, but so that was the sad part of all of this was if I could have just learned a bit. Why I'm saying this is because we were forced to learn either a European language as a third language, like French or German or whatever, but we were never encouraged to learn a local another of the 12 languages. And that is what's making life so difficult, because we still have a communication problem with some of our colleagues. So you need to explain everything sometimes for us to reach an understanding. And it's because of the language barriers, because some people were dominantly just educated in Afrikaans, or dominantly educated in English, or dominantly educated in isiXhosa. So when we get into the business environment, it's a struggle for the isiXhosas because they were not dominant English, so now they struggle to get used to speaking correctly English. But we do have courses that you can go to if you need to learn business English. And we have also that in university now to learn business English. So you can understand when you go to the workplace to know how to present yourself. But so yeah, it's my mother spoke English, my dad spoke Afrikaans. So I have both fluently in my life. Nice, and nice. So it's not a choice for me to have spoken English. I was born with it because my mom was speaking English and my dad. And can you believe my ancestors are actually Jewish?
Wow.
I have Jewish ancestors. Yes.
Wow.
I discovered that. My mom never explained that to me. I discovered that during my mom's funeral when she passed away. Then my aunt actually said to me, because my sister have long, beautiful, curly black hair, like a Brazilian, by the way. And she has this beautiful green eyes. And then my aunt came to me and she said, your sister looks exactly like her aunt, a Jewish aunt right now. And I said, what do you mean? Yes, your forefathers are Jewish. And I never knew that. That was a new discovery for me. And then I look at my mom's coffin. Why you never told me about this? but no. But no, yes, so I have Jewish ancestors aside from my African ancestors.
So, Claude, I was thinking here, since you've brought the business topic on, what would be the main business sector in South Africa? I mean, what's the main economic strength, and how do you relate with the other countries? Could you please tell us a little bit more about it?
The biggest revenue for government is tourism. So our economy has suffered a lot during the COVID pandemic because tourism was banned, it was blocked. And that's basically our biggest tourism, because we have the safari parks, we have these beautiful vacation setups, resorts, and all of that. I mean, you even have a house in the wilderness, and animals would walk around it. But those are resorts.
Safari is amazing.
Let me just correct this. It is not everyday lives of Africans that we see lions walking in the streets, because that is what Americans think. That is not the way we live. You have been to Cape Town. Have you seen lions and elephants? No, you have not.
They think the same of us here, Claude. They think we're just a jungle.
I know.
Exactly.
Same.
So that is the perspective. So it is not. We have beautiful infrastructure. We have buses, trains. Yes, it's a cosmopolitan city in Cape Town.
Well-developed.
So no, you're not gonna find lions and cheetahs and whatnot. But our biggest industry is tourism, and then it's mining, because we have the gold and we're the biggest exporters of platinum.
Platinum.
How about agriculture, Claude? Agriculture.
Yes, agriculture. In agriculture is mostly our wine industry that flourishes here. And even during the COVID pandemic, our wine industry suffered a lot because exports couldn't happen. And also, I mean, there's several years that we have won the best wine globally.
I know. African wine is amazing.
So we have the top wines, just like Australian wines, just like Chilean wines, and Californian wines. We still have great wines.
I can't wait to have a bottle of South African wine with you soon.
I know I should have brought you a bottle with me. And you were asking for Amarula as well.
Oh,
Amarula,
by the way,
Amarula, yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's
Amarula, by the
delicious.
way, for the
Inning.
listeners.
Yeah.
Yes. You can tell your listeners what that is.
No,
I don't know what
we've
your
got it
taste buds
here.
We
thinks.
have it
Too.
here.
Yeah, come on. And
Yes,
Claude, just before we finish, because it's been like almost 30 minutes of this amazing,
I
interesting.
told you we needed a whole day for this.
Very interesting.
I was thinking about the beginning of our conversation when you told something about your job, and I'd like to go back to that point so that our listeners understand what is life for a guy like you. So you said that you work with finances. So what did you major in? I mean, are you an engineer? Are you an IT guy, information technology guy? And tell us a little bit more about that, please. What's your background?
Basically, yes. Basically, the how do I put this now? The titles in information. I work in information technology, but the titles are changing now because we are all forming to a global standard. So in the older years, you would call a programmer a developer. You would call a business analyst or a systems analyst. But now we don't have those, because those are the titles of the old way of working. And what our company has done now, we have moved now into a different process of how we do things. So it's called an agile approach to programming, to IT. Agile. So agile means that on the go, on the fly, we do things, we engineer things, and we test it, and we do things quicker than in the older days, because in the older days we had a big bunch of coding that we have to do, and testing and engineering and iterating, and it would take months sometimes to implement that new functionality. Whereas now we take bits of pieces of functionality, create it, and set it out in production and let it work. And then we take on the next one, set it out and let it work. So we don't do, so that's what agile is. So we do things quicker now in a shorter time than doing a bunch of things in a longer time.
So you work in a multinational there in South Africa, is that it?
Repeat that again.
Do you work in a multinational company, or your company is a South African one?
No, it is a South African local one, but we have now
international operations.
become. So now we do have international operations. Yes.
Okay. All right. And lastly, sorry, I'm very curious.
Tiago can't get enough.
Yeah,
he can't get enough. He's hanging on my
lap. You talk the most.
And I was curious here, and I want to give this opportunity for our listeners. Right, we are here for them to get from you which tips would you give for Brazilians, for instance, that want to develop their careers abroad in an international company, since you are in this very mixed environment with many languages, but you were able to thrive there using English. I mean, do you think that speaking English in this business environment, it's something absolutely crucial for any professional that wants to have a shift in their careers, to go abroad, to do something else, to explore. So what's your point of view about it? I think it's pretty clear for us, but since you've been all over and you work with that, IT is super, I mean, the things that are happening right now.
Fair enough. No, I get what you're saying. Look, the emphasis is working abroad. Whether you speak Portuguese or French or Spanish, it is important that you actually do understand English if you want to survive in, it doesn't matter if it's corporate or tourism or wherever you want to work, but English is crucial for you to understand and speak fluently, and also to become a productive employer in your environment. Because look, like I said to you, most companies, even Google and Facebook, all of them, they all move into an agile approach of doing things. So things are getting faster. I mean, how many times have you seen new functionality on your phone or whatever? Because things are moving faster. Before you know it, there's TikTok. We have a new app. Before you know it, who knows what's gonna come after TikTok, because technology has so advanced. I'm talking about in my industry, for example, but it's not just my industry, it's financial sector, it's everywhere companies are taking this agile approach. And in most times, people who are advanced in English can survive. They can survive keeping their jobs, they can survive holding on to their jobs, because they are a bigger asset than those who can't speak two languages. Because if you can speak Portuguese and English, that is a good asset to have. Yeah. I would advise anyone rather go to a university or go to an English teaching school that has the right approach to get you into where you want to be.
Come to speak out. Yes.
There we go. There we go. Speak out.
Make things
go
easier.
To speak out.
It's come to speak out. Claude, it has been a great pleasure talking to you, buddy.
It's been amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
for taking the time to be here with us today. I'm looking forward to meeting up with you again soon, either in Brazil or in South
visit.
Africa.
I miss you. I miss you. Please come visit.
So I've never done a safari, so I think we should set it up. Raf, let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's your treat. That's your treat, by the way. You are the tourist.
I know. Thank you very much, Claude. And see you very soon.
Thank you so much.
Love you, my friend. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah,
awesome.
bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.